Life has a way of rewriting our stories when we least expect it. One moment can divide everything into before and after, testing the depths of human resilience in ways we never imagined. The story of Liam Neeson teaches us this truth with profound clarity. In March 2009, Neeson was at Mont Tremblant ski resort in Quebec when he received the call that would change everything. His wife of 15 years, Natasha Richardson, had taken what seemed like a minor fall during a beginner skiing lesson. As Neeson would later recount to Anderson Cooper in a 2014 60 Minutes interview, "I spoke to her, and she said, 'Oh, darling, I've taken a tumble in the snow.'" That's how she described it. What appeared initially as a minor incident would rapidly evolve into something far more serious. Richardson had initially waved off medical attention, even signing a form declining treatment. But within hours, what Neeson described as a lucid interval, a term he learned later, gave way to a devastating brain injury that would ultimately prove fatal. At the time, Neeson was in Toronto filming Chloe. He rushed to Sacré-Cœur Hospital in Montreal, where he found medical staff fighting to save his wife's life. In that same 60 Minutes interview, Neeson recalled the moment with devastating clarity. "I was told she was brain dead. And seeing this x-ray, it was like, wow. But obviously she was on life support and stuff. The pact they had made years before would now face its ultimate test. They had agreed that if either fell into a vegetative state, they didn't want to be kept alive artificially." As Neeson would later share with Esquire magazine, "She and I had made a pact. If any of us got into a vegetative state, we'd pull the plug. So when I saw her and saw all these tubes and stuff, that was my immediate thought." What followed demonstrated a kind of strength that doesn't announce itself with fanfare, but reveals itself in the quiet moments of impossible decisions. Neeson arranged for her organs to be donated, a decision that would give life to 3 other people. "That's what she would have wanted," he told Anderson Cooper, his voice carrying the weight of certainty amid grief. The reality of loss doesn't arrive in a single moment. As Neeson would later explain in an interview with the Sunday Times in 2014, "It hits you in the middle of the night. Well, it hits me in the middle of the night. I'm out walking. I'm feeling quite content. And it's like suddenly, boom, it's like you've just done that in your chest." In the aftermath of profound loss, work can become either an escape or an anchor. For Liam Neeson, it became both, as he would later tell Esquire magazine in 2011, "I think I survived by running away, son. Running away to work." Those words, spoken with characteristic directness, shed light on how he navigated the early days of grief. Just 60 days after Natasha's passing, Neeson returned to the set of Clash of the Titans, where he was portraying Zeus. The timing of this return wasn't lost on him, as he would later reflect in an interview with GQ. "It's easy enough to plan jobs, to plan a lot of work. That's effective. But that's the weird thing about grief, you can't prepare for it. You think you're going to cry and get it over with. You make those plans, but they never work." The period that followed saw him diving deep into his craft. Between 2009 and 2011, Neeson appeared in more than 10 films, including The A-Team, Unknown, and The Grey. This wasn't just about staying busy, as he explained to The Independent in 2014. "I'm not good with downtime. I'm really not. There's always a part of me that needs to feel like I'm working on something." His role in The Grey, released in 2011, proved particularly challenging, both physically and emotionally. Filmed in the brutal winter conditions of British Columbia, the movie tells the story of a man leading survivors through a wilderness stalked by wolves. During promotion for the film, Neeson shared with The Telegraph how the demanding shoot affected him. "We were up against the elements all the time. The snow, the wind, the cold. Sometimes it was minus 40 degrees. But there was something pure about it." The transformative power of this period emerged not in grand statements about overcoming grief, but in Neeson's honest reflections about continuing forward. In a 2012 interview with CBS, he addressed how his work helped him process his loss. "You know, I'm not good with grief, I don't think anybody is. But you know, it hits you in waves. It's like the ocean, it comes in waves, and you just cope with it as best you can." This dedication to his craft didn't go unnoticed. As reported in The Hollywood Reporter, His films during this period grossed over $1 billion worldwide, establishing him as a leading action star in his late 50s. Yet, when asked about this success by The Guardian in 2014, Neeson remained characteristically modest. "It's just work. It's just what I do. I'm very lucky to get the chance to do it." The evolution of his career during this period tells its own story about resilience. As documented in Variety, Neeson's shift toward action films like Taken opened up a new chapter in his career at an age when many actors find roles becoming scarcer. The success of these films wasn't just commercial. Critics noted a new depth in his performances. The New York Times review of The Grey praised his grave authority and emotional authenticity, qualities that seem to grow stronger through this period. When loss strikes a family, it ripples through generations. For Liam Neeson, the challenge wasn't just navigating his own grief, but guiding his two teenage sons, Michael and Daniel, through theirs. In a candid 2014 interview with CBS News, Neeson revealed the complexity of this dual role. "They're still young men. I'm not going to say it's easier now because it's not. They're still dealing with it as I am." The boys were just 13 and 12 when their mother passed. As Neeson shared with Anderson Cooper on 60 Minutes the morning after Natasha's accident, he had to explain to his sons what had happened. "I told them the truth. I just told them the truth, that Mum had had a fall in the snow and hit her head. She was brain dead and wasn't coming back." The rawness of this moment, recounted years later, speaks to the immediate challenges of parenting through crisis. Their home in Millbrook, New York, became a sanctuary of memories and healing. Speaking to the Irish Times in 2013, Neeson described how they maintain Natasha's presence in their daily lives. "They're teenagers. They're in denial. They wake up in the morning, get ready for school, head out, and that's their life. But the subject is never far away. Not a day goes by when I don't think about Natasha." The process of grief took different forms for each family member. In 2014, his older son Michael made the decision to take his mother's surname, Richardson. Speaking to the Sunday Times in 2015, Michael explained his choice. "It was a way to honor her and carry her name forward." Neeson's support for this decision was documented in various interviews, demonstrating his understanding that each person must find their own path through loss. The years that followed saw both challenges and moments of connection. As reported in The Telegraph, Neeson continued working while ensuring he remained present for his son's important moments. He told the publication in 2016, "It's been nearly 7 years, and it's still hard. But you know, we remember her every day. She's still a part of our lives, always will be." Their family bond found new expression through shared work. In 2020, Neeson and Michael starred together in Made in Italy, a film about a father and son processing the loss of their wife and mother. In an interview with Reuters, Neeson acknowledged the parallel to their own lives. "The story was so close to home. Reading the script was like, whoa, this is a bit near the knuckle." The impact of their family's journey emerged in unexpected ways. Michael, now an actor himself, spoke to Vanity Fair about his father's influence. "He showed me that you can carry on, that you can work and honor someone's memory through what you do." This testimony to his father's example came not through direct instruction, but through lived experience. Throughout this period, Neeson maintained a careful balance between protecting his son's privacy and acknowledging their shared journey. In a 2018 interview with RTE, he reflected on watching his boys become men. "They're finding their way, that's all any parent can hope for. They carry their mother in them, in their humor, in their expressions, in so many ways. Time has a way of reshaping not just who we are, but how we express ourselves through our work." In the years following 2009, Liam Neeson's career underwent a remarkable transformation, one documented through box office numbers, critical reviews, and his own reflections in numerous verified interviews. The release of Taken in early 2009 marked an unexpected turning point. As Neeson himself noted in a 2012 interview with Michigan Avenue magazine, "It was a complete accident. I never focused on the action genre or sought it out. The script for Taken came to me, and I thought it would be like a straight-to-video release. That film would go on to earn $226 million worldwide, as reported by Box Office Mojo, launching a new chapter in his career. Speaking to The Guardian in 2014, Neeson reflected on this career shift with characteristic candor. "I'm 61 years of age now, man, and I started this action movie genre at 56. I'm so touched and so blessed that I've been given this chance to do these type of films at this period in my life." The numbers backed up this success. According to The Hollywood Reporter, his action films from 2009 to 2014 collectively grossed over $1 billion worldwide. Critics noted a distinct evolution in his performances during this period. The New York Times review of The Grey, 2011, praised his grave authority and emotional authenticity, while Variety's review of Non-Stop, 2014, highlighted how he brought a wary melancholy to what could have been a standard action role. This depth wasn't accidental. As Neeson explained to Empire magazine in 2015, every role, whether it's action or drama, has to have truth at its core. Otherwise, what's the point? His work in more dramatic fare continued alongside these action films. The 2016 Martin Scorsese film, Silence, saw him taking on the complex role of Father Cristóvão Ferreira. Speaking to The Telegraph about this project, Neeson reflected, "These are the kinds of roles that make you question everything you think you know about faith, about doubt, about human nature. That's what draws me to them." The variety in his choices became increasingly apparent. As documented in Deadline Hollywood between 2009 and 2019, Neeson appeared in over 30 films across multiple genres. When asked about this prolific output by CBS Sunday Morning in 2018, he explained, "Work has always been a constant for me. It's where I feel useful. It's where I can contribute something meaningful." His approach to preparation remained consistent throughout this evolution. In a 2017 interview with The Independent, he detailed his process. "I still prepare the same way I did when I was doing theatre in Belfast. You do your homework, you study the script, you try to understand every angle of the character. That hasn't changed. The only difference is now I might have to train for some physical sequences." This dedication to craft earned recognition from his peers. As reported in Variety, actors who worked with him during this period consistently praised his professionalism and focus. Martin Scorsese, directing him in Silence, told The Hollywood Reporter, "Liam brings something unique to every role. A gravitas, yes, but also a vulnerability that makes his strength all the more powerful." In the glare of public attention, maintaining personal dignity while honoring truth becomes its own form of art. Through documented interviews and appearances, we witness how Liam Neeson navigated this delicate balance in the years following his loss. In a 2014 interview with Anderson Cooper for 60 Minutes, Neeson demonstrated his approach to public discussion of private pain. When asked about visiting the hospital where Natasha passed, he shared with quiet dignity, "I went into her and told her I loved her. I said, 'Sweetie, you're not coming back from this. You've banged your head. I don't know if you can hear me, but this is what's gone down.'" The raw honesty of this moment, shared years after the event, revealed his understanding that some experiences, while deeply personal, might help others facing similar challenges. His appearances on talk shows during this period showed a consistent pattern of graceful restraint. During a 2010 appearance on Good Morning America, when asked how he was coping, Neeson responded with characteristic directness, "I'm doing good. I'm doing good. It's still a day at a time, but I'm doing good." These words, as reported by ABC News, reflected his ability to acknowledge his journey without making it a spectacle. The Hollywood Reporter documented how Neeson maintained his professional commitments while protecting his private space. At the 2011 Toronto International Film Festival, promoting The Grey, he focused discussions on the craft of filmmaking while occasionally offering measured insights into his personal growth. As quoted in the festival's official coverage, "Work is a blessed distraction, and I'm very thankful for it." His relationship with media evolved in documented ways. In a 2016 interview with The Guardian, he reflected on how he approached public appearances. "I'm not good at small talk, never have been, but I've learned that sometimes sharing a small bit of truth is better than maintaining a large silence. This philosophy became evident in his selective but meaningful engagement with press and public. The impact of his approach resonated beyond entertainment media. When speaking with Ireland's RTE News in 2018 about grief and recovery, he shared an insight that many found helpful. "I'm not going to say it gets easier with time, because it doesn't. It gets different. You learn to live with it." These words, carried by news outlets worldwide, offered honest comfort to others navigating loss. Through verified television appearances and print interviews, a pattern emerged of someone who understood the value of authentic communication while maintaining personal boundaries. Speaking to The Telegraph in 2019, he explained his philosophy. "There's a difference between being private and being hidden. I choose to be private about certain things because that's how I honor them." His public appearances took on additional meaning when supporting causes close to his heart. UNICEF documented his continued work as a goodwill ambassador, noting how he used his platform to advocate for children's rights. During a 2017 UNICEF event, he spoke about the healing power of helping others. "When you can turn your attention to those who need help, it puts everything into perspective. Time offers perspective that only distance can provide." Looking back across the years since 2009, Liam Neeson's journey reveals truths about human resilience documented not through grand declarations, through consistent actions and thoughtful reflections. In a 2020 interview with The Australian, Neeson offered a rare comprehensive look at his path forward. "You learn to live with it. That's what people don't understand about grief. They think it's something you get over. You don't get over it, but you do learn to live with it." This insight, earned through experience, echoes through his documented interactions over the years. The evolution of his craft during this period is clearly traced through his filmography. According to data from Box Office Mojo, between 2009 and 2020, Neeson's films collectively earned over $2 billion worldwide, marking one of the most successful periods of his career. Yet, as he told Variety in 2019, "Success is meaningful only if you can use it to make a difference, to tell stories that matter, to possibly help others who might be going through their own struggles." His collaboration with his son Michael in Made in Italy 2020 represented a powerful intersection of professional and personal journeys. Speaking to Entertainment Weekly about working together, Neeson shared, "There were some very delicate scenes in there. I mean, the story of that film parallels my own situation and Michial's." The Hollywood Reporter noted how this project marked the first time father and son had directly addressed their shared loss through their craft. The impact of his example extends beyond entertainment. As documented by various mental health organizations, Neeson's occasional candid discussions about grief have contributed to broader conversations about loss and recovery. The American Foundation for Grief Counseling cited his 2014 60 Minutes interview as an example of how public figures can help normalize discussions about bereavement. His approach to balancing public life with private healing has been notably consistent. In a 2021 interview with The Independent, he reflected, "I've learned that healing doesn't mean the damage never existed. It means the damage no longer controls your life." This perspective, offered after more than a decade of processing his loss, provides insight into his sustained resilience. Professional colleagues have documented his influence through their own observations. Martin Scorsese, speaking to The Hollywood Reporter about directing Neeson in silence, noted, "There's a depth to his performances now that comes from somewhere very real, very lived in." This assessment aligns with critical reviews that consistently praise the increased gravitas in his later work. The measurable impact of his career choices appears in industry statistics. According to data compiled by Deadline Hollywood, Neeson's post-2009 filmography shows remarkable versatility, spanning action thrillers, historical dramas, and intimate character studies. This range, as he explained to Empire magazine in 2022, reflects his belief that work when approached with honesty can be both healing and meaningful. Life seldom follows our carefully laid plans. As Liam Neeson himself told The Guardian in 2023, "We can't choose what life brings us, but we can choose how we respond. His journey, documented through years of public record, interviews, and professional achievements, offers profound insights into human resilience. The most powerful lessons often emerge not from what we say about our challenges, but from how we live through them. Through verified accounts and documented actions, we've witnessed how one man navigated the territories of loss and renewal, maintaining dignity while continuing to create meaningful work. As Neeson shared in his most recent interview with The Times, "Every day is a new page. You keep writing your story, not because you've forgotten the previous chapters, but because you've learned to carry them with you." This perspective, earned through years of lived experience, resonates with universal truth. I'm your host from Rise Stoically, and in our next exploration, we'll examine another remarkable journey of human resilience, uncovering the extraordinary wisdom that often emerges from life's most challenging moments. Remember, as Neeson demonstrated, strength isn't about avoiding vulnerability. It's about finding a way forward while honoring both our wounds and our wisdom. Share your thoughts in the comments below about how this story of resilience resonates with your own journey. See you next time.